There's some hearty competition in the low-cost carrier space. A number of companies offering good prices on cell phone plans, streamlining the billing, maybe whittling back on some perks, but giving you a good deal on that core service. We've been getting a lot of questions about Reach Mobile and how it might stack up against a larger carrier. Plan pricing, coverage, data, and what's this about charitable contributions? So instead of a standard review, we thought it would be fun to frame this as a little bit more of a comparison, and the editors put together a full showdown pitting Reach against Verizon, just to give you an idea of what the pros and cons really look like. Can Reach Mobile convince you to sign up for their service? Let's take a look. And while you're shopping your next carrier, we hope you're taking the time to check out all the work on reviews.org, subscribing, following on the socials, and hitting that home site, reviews.org. It's fun content, and hopefully we can save you a little cash along the way. Okay, Reach Mobile is a new one for me. About a year ago, we did a breakdown on MVNOs, and I eventually picked a lower cost carrier for our family's smartphone plans. A few of our readers have been curious about Reach. Offering simple, low-cost plans with good data packages, it looks like a pretty solid deal against a mainstream carrier. Verizon might cost $55 a month for an unlimited student plan, and Reach is only $35 a month on a promo price. So there you go, winner, winner, chicken dinner. But of course, we know shopping wireless is more complicated than that. So, Reach is an MVNO using the T-Mobile network, and their plans look good. The hook for Reach, though, is contributing to Get a Plan, Give a Plan, a give-back program that helps connect women and students in underserved areas with data and phones. So, a Reach plan won't come in quite as cheap as Mint or US Mobile, but there is a feel-good element to that service sign-up. And when they say unlimited, we know they mean a pocket of fast data, and then unlimited slow data, which in Reach's case is also a little on the frugal side. 25 gigabytes of LTE or 5G, and then all the 2G data you can eat. Thankfully, there doesn't seem to be any additional limit on things like tethering, just there's a smaller data cap than many of the rivals. And that's about it. The price is reasonable even for not being the lowest, and there aren't many other perks to speak of. So compared against a bigger player, is this a good deal? And that mostly depends on how many lines and what kind of perks you're looking for. A single person signing up for one 5G line at Verizon is kind of one of the worst deals on the planet. Like going to Verizon right now, one line, the first plan you'll find on the website is $70 a month, regular 5G, not the faster millimeter wave 5G, no. And the perks are just 6-month trials of other services. All of the cost savings at carriers now are built on family plans or activating multiple lines. So if we do 3 lines and move up to the second tier at Verizon for $55 a month per line, now we get 50 gigs of high-speed data, the Hulu, ESPN, Disney Plus bundle, and a Google Play Pass or Apple Arcade subscription. That's looking a lot better, especially checking back in at Reach, where the price for a 25 gig cap is $45 a month per line after the promo period ends. On 3 lines, that difference works out to $30, but the Verizon plan comes with a lot more. But even if we're just trying to look 5G to 5G, then we have to factor in network prioritization, or in the case of an MVNO, de-prioritization. When a cell tower is congested, it slows some people down more than others. If you're subscribed directly to a name brand carrier, an MNO, your network is going to give a higher priority to someone over an MVNO. And not all deprioritization is equal. There can be multiple tiers of priority. If you're on a pay-per-gig plan like Google Fi, your service is basically identical to T-Mobile's. But a really cheap low-cost option might drop you 2 tiers lower, and your network speeds evaporate if there's any congestion. I'm on Mint, which is one of the higher priority tiers on T-Mobile, and it's still easy to see when my speeds are cut, especially around schools at drop-off or pickup times. I don't know exactly what tier Reach might fall into, but we know the data consistency won't be as high as the name brand carrier service. Lastly, in comparing, Verizon is much better for buying a new phone. Please do not buy phones through MVNOs. You'll pay higher than MSRP on older phones which are easily found on sale. The value of an MVNO largely lies in bring your own phone service. You buy a phone outright and you won't have to pay a monthly lease on a gadget that radically loses value weeks after it launches. And let us know in the comments if you want some shopping guides on buying phones. I mean, you always gotta feel bad for the folks who end up on a 3-year lease payment plan for an 11-month-old iPhone at full MSRP, but I digress. We gotta wrap this up. So, is Reach a good deal? Yes, but here's what I like to call Juan's inverse value proposition of low-cost carriers, aka buy less, save more. On a big carrier, the name brands, there's really no point shopping tiered data plans anymore. They all have a bunch of different unlimited options, even though most aren't really unlimited. So your main savings come from activating multiple lines. The value of an MVNO like Reach really isn't in unlimited, and you don't get any breaks for activating multiple lines. If you tailor your plans based on each user's data, that's where you're most likely to save. My wife uses almost no cell phone data now, mostly working from home and on Wi-Fi. Looking at her use on her phone, the cheapest Reach Best Fit plan could probably cover her most months. That's $20 a month for a single line, and factoring the few times she'd need to go over that 2 gigabytes of data, it would still come out to a tremendous savings over a single Verizon line per year. Easily enough in savings to also pick up some streaming services and match some of the perks at Verizon. So we're really shopping two completely different philosophies in mobile when looking at MNO carriers versus MVNO suppliers. Reach is a solid mid-pack offering, which is beat by Mint and US Mobile in outright service showdowns, but might appeal to folks looking at the social angle of charity and philanthropy. And it's one I'll definitely be adding to the list of low-cost options to recommend to people in the future. So if you want a full breakdown on what Reach has to offer, make sure you hit up the home site, reviews.org, where we've got an in-depth write-up on plans and pricing, all of the tiny little granular details you might want to check out if you're looking to save yourself some cash. As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing these videos, and subscribing to the channel. For reviews.org, I'm Juan Carlos Bagnell, aka Some Gadget Guy, and I will catch you all on the next video.